What's up, everybody? In this video we gotta go through how to design a thread, a bolt with thread and nut, or in my design it is going to be a standoff that I will be using to mount acrylic sign into the wall. So I'm gonna start with creating 3 circles, one for the outer diameter, one inner, and one for the hole, the mounting hole. So I already have a parametric table inserted here, so this way in the future whenever you want to update your design, you don't have to go through the design completely. You just go to the table and modify the values from here. Will be more feasible and easier to do. It's a really good practice to start using parameters like that. Saves you tons of time, especially when you're working on a very complicated design. Like this one is very simple, so you don't need to do it, but I like it because in the future you will see like the thread, I made them 3/4 of an inch. If I want to make them longer, then just go there and change the value and then we're gonna update. Okay, here I'm doing the base. So this is the extrude. I made it 3/4 of an inch. No, I made it, I'm sorry, I made it 3/8, and now the thread, the arm, that should be 3/8 times 2, and I make sure it's set to join. Next we gotta create a shell. My wall thickness, I decided to do 0.1, which is pretty decent size for the threads, and it's not too thick or too thin. Next we gotta enable this section analysis to see the inside of the bolt, because you know when you create like the 2 circles on top of each other, they will create sharp edges. So whenever you 3D print, it will be so hard to print those without support. So adding 2 chamfers that will do the trick. Next we gotta apply the thread using the option here, thread, and then make sure molded is checked. And as far as the type, you can use I like the isometric profile because it works pretty good for this size. And then you know Fusion decides what size is the best. So if you're not limited or you don't have to follow a certain numbers, then this one that Fusion decide for you. So here is a small trick. So you know like the top of the thread is like super sharp, so we cannot chamfer that. So to do so, you just go in the timeline one step, go to the original one, chamfer it there, and then you gotta move with the timeline forward, and then that will do the trick. So here moving the chamfer to the front and then the timeline to the front. Next we gotta name the bodies. So naming is very important, especially when you're working on a complicated design. So this way you can get to it super easy. Next we gotta create the nut, or the top, the lid. So I'm drawing a circle from the center to the edge of the bottom thread, and I'm gonna extrude it whatever the extrude height is, plus you need to add a little bit for the thickness for the cap. So 0.15, which is around 4 mil, is pretty solid, 4 or 5 mil. Now here naming the body one more time. Okay, so next we gotta separate them from each other, the threads. So to make a copy of it, you gotta go to the combine command and then intersect, and then select the lid first, and then for the body select the body down, make sure it's cut, and then keep those. So now you have two parts right now. Okay, now next you gotta get rid of this little piece, press pull, drag up until it snaps. You hit OK. Okay, so after that, now the thread will be 100% perfect match. We don't like that. We have to add some area clearance. So this way when you thread them together, they will be super easy. Okay, so in order to add a clearance, you have to use a press pull and add a little bit of tolerance there. So this is kind of a plug and play, so trial and error. See, like right now 0.01 is too much. Start with a super like zero number and then work your way up. So negative 0.23 or whatever. With my experience, like for this size, 0.04 or 5 will work pretty good. Yeah, start with the 0. Again, take your time, make sure to have tolerance or clearance around the whole thread. We're almost there. Next, I gotta make the drill hole. So we already draw in the first sketch. Extrude, cut, and then move up. You can do, because you know the thickness is 3/8 and it's already hollow, but you can do it to the object. This way, if you ever change it, then you know you will never get it wrong. You don't have to worry about it. So it's a really good practice to do it that way. Next, I'm gonna round the top, adding fillet, 0.2, and that's it. Okay, so this is what we designed together. That's it. Nice and easy. One change I did to the design with the parametric, I made a special dedicated parameter, one for the thread and one for the spacer. So the extrude height I changed it into spacer because it is much easier to change the spacer here, and each one is like it's a customer specific. Okay, so I made the spacer 1 inch for in this example, and the thread is 3/8. So if you want to change the thread into a bigger or a longer one, like let's say you're gonna go half an inch, you just type in half an inch and it's gonna update automatically. Let's put it back to 3/8. Same thing for the spacer. If you do 1.5 or 1.25, whatever value you want, you just punch it in and then that will do it. And did you notice like how the lid is like automatically adapting to these sizes here?